Hare Krishna, Hari Bol. Thank you, Meenu Mataji and Vishwanath Prabhuji for leading the chanting this morning. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Dalapanam, Jai Shri Prabhupada. Happy Vasant Panchami to all of you. This auspicious occasion of marking of the beginning of the Vasant Ritu or start of the spring season in India. Okay, let's start with our prayers and then we'll read Prabhupada Lilamrit. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakammalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshitarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivas Adi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. Okay, yes, anybody would like to sing our prayer today? Vibhavari Shesha. Like I said, it's the auspicious beginning of the spring season in India and our Vedic culture. Vasant Panchami marks the beginning of Vasant Ritu. So this is a wonderful prayer to sing to start our day. Yes, anybody would like to sing?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I can sing.
Yes, please, go ahead.
Vibhavari Shesha Aluka Pravesha Nindrashadi Utho Jiva Molo Hari Hari Mukunda Murari Rama Krishna Hayagriva Narsimha Vamana Shri Madhusudana Rajendra Nandana Shama Putana Ghatana Ketava Satana Jayata Sharati Rama Yashoda Dulala Govinda Gopala Vrindavana Purandara Gopi Priya Jana Radhika Ramana Bhuvana Sundar Bara Ravana Ankara Makhana Taskara Gopi Jana Vastrahari Brajira Rakhala Gopa Vrindapala Chittahari Bamshidhari Yogendra Bandana Shri Nandanandana Brajajana Bhayahari Navina Nirada Rupa Manohara Mohana Bamshi Bihari Yashodanandana Kamsani Shodana Nikunjara Savilasi Kadamba Kanana Rasa Parayana Brinda Vipina Nivasi Anand Varadana Premani Ketana Phula Shara Jojak Kama Gopangana Gana Chitta Vinodana Samasta Guna Ganadhama Jamuna Jivana Keli Parayana Manasa Chandra Chakora Nama Sudharasa Gau Krishna Jasha Rakho Vachana Manamora Vibhavari Shesha Aloka Pravesha निंद्रा छाड़ी उठो जीवा, बोलो हरि हरि मुकुंद मुरारी, राम कृष्ण हयग्रीवा, राम कृष्ण हयग्रीवा. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Shri Nam Kirtan ki jai. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, we're ready for the translation. Anybody would like to read today?
I can read, Prabhu.
Yes, Amresh Prabhu. Yeah, go ahead. I can't
The
hear
night
you.
has come. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay,
The
good.
night has come to an end, and the light of dawn is entering. O Jiva soul, arise and give up your sleep. Chant the holy names of Lord Hari, who is the giver of liberation, the enemy of Mura demon, the supreme enjoyer, the all-attractive one, and the horse-headed incarnation Hayagriva. Lord Hari, Krishna, incarnated as the half-man, half-lion Narsimha. He appeared as a dwarf Brahmana named Upendra and is the killer of the Madhudiman. He is the beloved son of the king of Braja, Nanda Maharaj, and is blackish is in complexion. He is the slayer of the Putana, witch, and the destroyer of the demon Kaitava. All glories to our Lord Hari, who appeared as Lord Rama, the son of King Dasratha. He is the darling of Mother Yasoda, the giver of pleasure to the cows, land, and the spiritual senses, and the protector of the cows. He is the Lord of Vrindavan forest, the gopis' beloved, the lover of Radhika, and the most beautiful personality in all the worlds. As Ramachandra, he brought about the end of the demonic king Ravana. As Krishna, he stole the older gopis' butter. He stole the younger gopis' clothes while they were bathing in the Yamuna. He is a cowherd boy of Raja and the protector of the cowherd boys. He steals the hearts of all and always holds a flute. Lord Krishna is worshipped by the best of yogis and is the son of Nanda. He removes all the fears of the inhabitants of Braja. He is the color of a fresh rain cloud, and his form is enchanting. When he wanders about playing his flute, he looks very charming. He is the son of Yashoda and the killer of King Kansa, and he sports in the rasa dance among the groups of Braja. Krishna engages in this rasa dance underneath the Kadamba trees, and he resides in the forests of Vrindavan. He increases the ecstasy of his devotees. He is the reservoir of all love and is the transcendental Cupid who uses his flowered arrows to increase the loving desires of the gopis. He is the pleasure of the gopis' hearts and the abode of all wonderful qualities. Lord Krishna is the life of the river Yamuna. He is always absorbed in the amorous pastimes, and he is the moon of the gopis' minds, which are like the chakora birds that subsist only upon moonlight. O mind, obey these words of mine and sing the glories of Sri Krishna in the form of these holy names, which are full of nectarian mellows. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Amresh Prabhu. Yes, this prayer also teaches us like Krishna loves to be known not just by his qualities, but more so by the qualities or by being associated with his devotees, right? Like Nanda Maharaj, Yashodamaya, Yashodanandana, Sri Nandanandana, right? So like that, he's always takes more pleasure when we uh, associate Krishna with his pure devotees. And that gives him more pleasure because Krishna's whole and soul purpose is to give pleasure. He's Govinda, he gives pleasure to his pure devotees always, and his pure devotees always wants to give pleasure to Krishna. So it's a very reciprocal relationship. But yeah, so if Krishna loves his devotees so much, and if we pray to these devotees, pure devotees like our Guru Parampara, like Srila Prabhupada, then Krishna becomes even more happy because we are trying to reach Krishna through his pure devotees who are more dear to him than himself. So today, Vasant Panchami is a day like that where we can pray to the pure devotees of the Lord, because this is, like I said, it's in a seasonal terms. Yes, it's the start of the spring season, one of the 6 seasons in our Vedic cultures. But it also is a very auspicious day today because there are like a lot of appearance and disappearance of a lot of Vaishnavas today, especially Shri Raghunath Das Goswami, who is one of the most foremost of our acharyas and the Shad Goswamis, who helps us reach the final ultimate goal of life, which is to to awaken our love of Godhead. He's our Prayojanacharya. And like that, there is Vishnu Priya Devi, the wife of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, was also very, very renounced. And she would just eat only as much rice that, she would chant the holy names every day. So like that, there are so many of these devotees, wonderful devotees, whose Avirbhav and Tirobhav, appearance and disappearance today. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, whose prayers we sing in the morning as Mangalarti, his disappearance today. So all these are pure devotees of the Lord. So when we pray to them, then Krishna becomes even more merciful because his mercy flows through his pure devotees. So like that should be our mood today. And with that, let's continue with Prabhupada Leela Amrit. As we saw Prabhupada, also in the mood of renunciation, like Raghunath Das Goswami yesterday. He was joking that Krishna has given me so many facilities, so many centers, but he has ordered me not to stay anywhere. So he keeps traveling like Narad Muni, another pure devotee of the Lord. So in the same lineage, as a representative of Sri Narad Muni, Prabhupada is now traveling from Los Angeles to Mexico. And he is very, very happy to see the Krishna consciousness movement flourishing even in Latin America under the leadership of his disciple Hridayananda Das Goswami Maharaj, who is preaching in Spanish and Portuguese and all the Latin American languages. Prabhupada's instruction to him was to translate and print and distribute these books in all languages so that people can get benefited. Okay, so let's continue from here. I have received a copy of the Spanish Back to Godhead, and it is done very nicely. The printing is very beautiful, and I thank you very much for doing such a nice job. I'm very glad to hear you have printed 100,000 copies of this magazine. Now give them to everyone. Also, I'm very happy to hear the other books will be coming out very soon. If you can finish Bhagavad Gita as it is in Spanish and show me at the Mayapur festival, that will be very sublime. Please print as many books as possible. This is my real pleasure. By printing these books of our Krishna conscious philosophy in so many different languages, we can actually inject our movement into the masses of persons all over the world, especially there in the Western countries, and we can literally turn whole nations into Krishna conscious nations. Thank you for representing me there in South America by stressing the importance of attendance to the morning and evening programs and following all of the spiritual practices. This is wanted. Without these things, there is no devotional life. In all of his letters to Srila Prabhupada, Hridayananda Maharaj humbly requested Prabhupada to visit the centers most ready to receive him, Mexico City and Caracas. Prabhupada replied that he wanted to visit and would do so on his next Western tour. Leaving Bombay in January 1975, Srila Prabhupada made his way west by his usual route, Hong Kong, Tokyo, and Hawaii. Hridayananda Goswami flew to Hawaii just to make sure Srila Prabhupada would come to Mexico. 2 or 3 times between 1972 and 75, the devotees in Mexico had thought Srila Prabhupada was definitely coming. Once they had been within 2 hours of his expected arrival, with the temple fully decorated with flowers, when his secretary had phoned and said Prabhupada would come later. On that occasion, the devotees had become overwhelmed and had thrown flowers and handfuls of cakes at one another while crying and laughing. When Srila Prabhupada finally came in February 1975, Hridayananda Maharaj arranged for a first-class reception at the airport. He convinced the airport and police officials that Srila Prabhupada should be met with a special car just as he came down the ramp from the airplane, that he and his party should bypass immigration and customs formalities, and that police on motorcycles should escort his car all the way to the temple. Srila Prabhupada smiled with pleasure to see all this take place. He was prepared to undergo difficulties, but he also often complained about immigration officers who were so ignorant of spiritual etiquette as to question a sadhu at the border. He sometimes compared the immigration's men to watchdogs. Ruff, ruff, where is your visa? Formerly, a sadhu would be allowed to enter even the king's palace, Srila Prabhupada said, but Srila Prabhupada was often delayed, searched, quarantined, and even refused entry into a country. Therefore, the proper reception by the government and police of Mexico was a pleasant surprise. With sirens wailing, two police motorcycles led the way onto the highway as Srila Prabhupada, profusely garlanded, sat in the rear of the black limousine, chanting on his beads and discussing Krishna conscious plans with his leading disciples. For this visit, the devotees at the temple were fully prepared. Some of them remembered how Srila Prabhupada had arrived in 1972 to find the temple almost empty, most of the devotees being en route to the airport to greet him. This time, they had been rehearsing his arrival for weeks. Tonio Fernandez. We practiced the conch shell, the kartals, everything. Someone would even go on the top of the roof and say that he saw the car of Prabhupada. In this way we rehearsed. I was in charge of the sound control and I had to run from there to the gate. It had been decided beforehand where everyone would sit when Prabhupada gave a class. But when Prabhupada actually came, someone blew the conch shell out of time and all the devotees started to run. Shruti Mohan. It was a scene with players, and the play was that Prabhupada was coming. We had practiced, but now it was the real thing. The first car that came was Prabhupada's servants. The devotees were having ecstasies because they thought it was Prabhupada. As soon as they saw a devotee that didn't look Mexican, they started to feel that Prabhupada was here. Prabhupada's servants said to the devotees in charge of the program, "Take it easy. Now Prabhupada is going to arrive at any moment." Then two of Prabhupada's servants went up to look at Prabhupada's room to see if it was ready or if anything was missing. After that, the Kirtan calmed down a little so we could hear the conch shell. But we had to wait half an hour because Prabhupada's car was coming slowly. The boy on the roof finally saw Prabhupada's car, but he forgot to blow the conch shell and began to yell, "Prabhupada is coming! Prabhupada is coming! Hare, have Kirtan! Jai Prabhupada! Jai Prabhupada!" It was a very exciting moment. Prabhupada's car then appeared and slowly moved onto the property. It stopped a little before the front door. Then Prabhupada got out and everyone threw petals from the roof. Hridayananda Maharaj opened the car door and Prabhupada, in a very particular way, came out and stood up and looked all around. Everyone was giving his obeisances to Prabhupada, but at the same time, no one knew exactly what was happening. Hridayananda Maharaj was more excited than anyone else. He was telling the devotees, "Kirtan, Kirtan!" Nandapran. When Prabhupada came to the temple, he was besieged with a rain of petals. There were two lines of devotees and karmis mixed, and Prabhupada passed through. Everything was well organized. People were throwing petals. The lines started from the beginning of the entrance all the way to the temple house. Everyone was throwing petals, and Prabhupada went all the way into the main hall where they had his Vyasasan. But instead of going to sit down, he went into the small temple room to see the deities. After Prabhupada saw the deities, he looked at the temple room. Oh, much improved. Then Hridayananda Maharaj invited him to go to the Vyasasan where Prabhupada sat and they washed his feet and did a Guru Puja. It was a better standard than the first time. Roberto Ruiz. I had never seen Srila Prabhupada before that. I was seeing him in pictures and in the magazine, but I had never seen personally, so I was very nervous. As soon as he will see me, I thought he will know I am a cheater. He will look through my demoniac nature. Then finally Srila Prabhupada arrived at the temple. The devotees received him with a shower of flower petals. The reception was nice because as soon as he arrived at the airport, someone called the temple and told us, "Prabhupada is here. He has put his lotus feet in Mexico." Shruti Mohan. The big windows in the main hall were painted with plastic yellow paint, and the sun was shining through on Prabhupada's face like amber. One man was on the left side, and another strong man was on the right. They were the Kshatriyas of Prabhupada. They were looking after him if someone wanted to cross in front of them. Prabhupada started to sing, "Vandeham," and the devotees and guests tried to follow, but most of them just let it go. After Guru Puja, Prabhupada spoke in English to the assembled devotees. As usual, after every few sentences, his words were translated by one of the devotees. "My dear devotees, ladies and gentlemen," Prabhupada began, "I am very much glad to see you again. I think after 4 years, I was trying to come here again. I like this place, but due to various engagements and due to my old age also, I could not come earlier. But this time, by arrangement of our Hridayananda Maharaj, I have been forced to come here." At these words, the devotees burst into appreciative laughter. So I must thank you for your nice reception. I was received by police escort very nicely, and I remember once I traveled with the governor of UP in 1962 from Lucknow to Kanpur. So exactly, we were driving in the same fashion, escorted by the police motorcycle. So anyway, I'm so pleased to see you that you are interested in Krishna consciousness movement. So the Krishna consciousness movement is very, very important for the human society. It is not exactly a religious movement as it is understood in the Western countries. Religion is described in the English dictionary as a kind of faith. And once again, the pure, transcendental message was coming from Prabhupada's lotus like mouth in the company of the devotees of Mexico, their great saintly spiritual master. The spiritual master of the whole world was now again with them in ISKCON, Mexico, and the devotees listened and watched him with rapt attention. It is very simple and easy, Prabhupada said, describing Krishna consciousness. If you do not know, if you are not educated, if you have no asset, you can simply chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And if you are educated, a logician, a philosopher, you can read our books, which are already 50 in number. There will be about 75 books of our 400 pages to convince the philosopher, scientist, and educationist what is Krishna consciousness. They are published in English as well as other European languages. Take advantage of this. Along with the deity worship in the temple, hold classes at least 5 hours. As in the schools and colleges, there are regular classes, 45-minute class, then 5 or 10 minutes recess, again 45-minute class, in this way. So we have got enough subject matter to study. And if we study all these books, to finish them, it will take at least 25 years. So you are all young men. I request you to engage your time in reading books, in chanting, in deity worship, in going to preach, selling books. Don't be lazy. Always remain engaged. Then that is Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada spoke briefly. Then he asked for questions. A guest asked, if everyone is spirit soul, then isn't sex life also spiritual? Prabhupada, there is no sex life in the spirit soul. Sex life is in the material body. We are not this body. But because we are in this body, therefore we are thinking pleasure of the body is pleasure of the soul. The second question, who are we? Why are we here? And where are we going? Prabhupada, you are all living entities. You wanted to come here, just like I wanted to come in your city. I have come here. Similarly, you wanted to come to this material world and enjoy. So because you wanted to enjoy this material world, you have come here. Krishna has allowed you to come here, and you are trying to enjoy this material world. This is called struggle for existence. But you will never be happy with this material world. It is simply a struggle for existence. Therefore, you should go back to home, back to Godhead. Then you will be happy. That's all. At the end of the questions and answer session, a Mexican lady stood up spontaneously and said in English, in the name of all the guests and all the Mexico City temple, we welcome you. One of Prabhupada's sannyasi disciples, Hanuman, had fallen down from the sannyas standard and had married. Such a thing had never before happened in ISKCON. But now, on Prabhupada's first day in Mexico, Hanuman, dressed as a householder, came to see his spiritual master. After the crowd of guests had left Prabhupada's room, only Hanuman and a few senior men remained. Shri Prabhupada, Hanuman began, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had one disciple in the renounced order, Chota Haridas, whom he rejected from his association because he became too much lusty after a woman. I was also one of your sannyas disciples, and I too became lusty after a woman. I was wondering if you have also rejected me from your association. A heavy silence followed as everyone looked at Prabhupada, who sat with his head down. After a long pause, Prabhupada looked up at Hanuman and said quietly, Lord Chaitanya is God. He can spread this movement all over the world in 1 second without the help of anyone if he likes. I am not God. I am simply a servant of God. I require so much assistance to help me spread Krishna consciousness all over the world. If someone renders even some small service to help me, I am eternally indebted to him. You have rendered so much assistance to me. How could I reject you? The devotees were moved, amazed at the depth of Srila Prabhupada's compassion. Then Hanuman began to tell Srila Prabhupada about his family, about his son named Bhakti Vedanta. That is not very good, Srila Prabhupada shook his head. Sometimes you may have to chastise your child, and you should not be chastising your guru. Hanuman became a little disturbed. But Srila Prabhupada, he said, we have already grown accustomed to calling him that. What we will call him now? Prabhupada thought and then explained that actually it was all right because his name was Bhaktivedanta Das. Just like we name all our disciples Krishna Das, Prabhupada said, not Krishna, but servant of Krishna. Just like you are not Hanuman, but servant of On the first evening of his visit, Prabhupada lectured from the Bhagavad Gita. After the lecture, he asked for questions. Hridayananda Maharaj, seated on a cushion at Prabhupada's feet, translated the inquiries from Spanish into English for Prabhupada and then translated Prabhupada's reply into Spanish for the audience. Hridayananda Maharaj. He asks, what if we have already committed so many offenses to chanting? At this point, how can we purify? Prabhupada. If we don't commit offense, why do you voluntarily commit offense? You should not commit offense. Then it will be all right, purified. Hridayananda Maharaj. We don't know how we can increase our desire for chanting. Prabhupada. By performing Sankirtan, just like if a man drinks, and if he drinks and drinks, then he becomes a drunkard. The example amused the audience, and they broke into laughter. Drink more and more, and you become a drunkard, Prabhupada continued. Similarly, chant more and more, and you become perfect chanter. Hridayananda Maharaj. What is the greatest offense? Prabhupada, yes, that is the first offense. Gurur avagya. Shruti Shastra Nindanam. Shruti Shastra Nindanam. Gurur avagya. If you accept a guru and then again disobey him, then what is your position? You are not a gentleman. You promise before Guru, before Krishna, before fire that I shall obey your order. I shall execute this. If again you do not do this, then you are not even a gentleman. What to speak of a devotee? This is common sense. A man asked in Spanish, excuse me, sir. Before, in your previous life as a Karmi, what were you doing? Hidananda Maharaj didn't translate the question to Prabhupada, but immediately asserted strongly, the pure devotee has never been a Karmi. He is never a Karmi. A pure devotee is always a transcendental person, right from his birth. He just came from the spiritual world to save us, to teach us this transcendental knowledge, given out thousands and thousands of years ago by Lord Krishna. Hidananda Maharaj continued glorifying Srila Prabhupada. What does he say? Prabhupada asked Hidananda Maharaj. But he didn't want to say anything to Srila Prabhupada. He said, nothing, Srila Prabhupada, nothing. He would speak strongly to the man asking this question, and when Srila Prabhupada would question him, Hidananda Maharaj would be like a little child. Oh, Srila Prabhupada, it doesn't matter. Don't worry about it. He's just talking some nonsense. Then finally, Srila Prabhupada just laughed and took the next question. Hidananda Maharaj. He asks, how can we control the tongue? Prabhupada, you can take prasadam. Prabhupada smiled, and his answer was so pleasurable for everyone that they began to laugh. Prabhupada continued, Bhaktivinoda Thakur has said like that, out of all the senses, the tongue sense is very powerful. So it is very difficult to control it. Therefore, Krishna has given us one weapon. What is that? Krishna is very kind. Therefore, he has given us his remnants of foodstuff. So if we make this promise that I shall not take anything which is not offered to Krishna, then your tongue will be controlled. The tongue's business is twofold. One is the tongue will speak and vibrate sound, and another business is to taste nice foodstuffs. So if you engage the tongue in the matter of Krishna's service by vibrating Hare Krishna mantra as if you don't allow, and if you don't allow your tongue to touch anything which is not offered to Krishna, then you become immediately Krishna realized. When the tongue is controlled, all other senses are automatically controlled. This is the process. Now again, engage your tongue in chanting Hare Krishna. On his cue, the devotees began a kirtan. Srila Prabhupada had given them everything. Kirtan, Prasadam, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna's service. And now, at least for a precious week, Prabhupada was giving them himself. Every morning and night, he was chanting with them and being with them, strengthening their faith in Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna. Let's pause here. Okay, wonderful. The day of Vasant Panchami, you see, the devotees have painted the windows in yellow. So, so it's very auspicious that Prabhupada is seeing the color of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu Ki Jai, the golden avatar of this age, is especially very dear. And he appeared in this time of Vasant Ritu, in this season of yellow, where everything is bedecked with yellow flowers, yellow decorations today for the lordships. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in this golden yellow avatar, descended to teach us this process of Sankirtan, Yajna, going back home, back to Godhead, simply by chanting, by vibrating the holy names through our tongues, and honoring Krishna Prasadam, doing service to the Vaishnavas and to the Lord. This is such a simple process to go back home, back to Godhead, that even just like when Ram Bhagwan came and he constructed the bridge to Lanka, just by chanting of his name or writing of his names. Similarly, in this Kali Yuga, Gauranga Mahaprabhu has come to build this bridge back home, back to Godhead, through the process of Sankirtan Yajna by chanting the holy name, just by glorifying the holy names, chanting the holy names. This bridge is formed, and we can walk on the bridge and go back home, back to Godhead. So, wonderful, very nice. And yeah, besides that, the process that Prabhupada is talking about, again, like, very simple terms to all the devotees. And we see, like last time, I think, yeah, when we were reading the Latin America chapter, yeah, Prabhupada had come in 1972. And that time, I think this sannyasi disciple only was there, Hanuman Goswami. Prabhupada had asked him to speak, and I think he was speaking, and then finally he was speaking some nonsense, and then Prabhupada stopped him. What is this nonsense story? I think there was some initiation that time, and then Prabhupada told him to stop. Then, then after that, he just speak from the Shastra, he had told him. So anyway, so sometimes, yeah, when we commits some offenses at the lotus feet of the Guru, then yes, there may be some reactions. Now, again, I don't know whether that was because of that, but good to see Prabhupada still, how much mercy and compassion he has for everybody in his heart. That even if he render one tiny small service, then he's so grateful. Like he says, he's eternally indebted to him. Like the other day, we were sharing the example of uh, His Holiness Satsarup Das Goswami Maharaj, who compiled this beautiful literature of Srila Prabhupada Lilamrit. He was sharing, right, that he used to work in a small off. He used to work in the government welfare department, and then he used to serve the movement by with his Lakshmi, with his money. And Prabhupada was very happy. And then when he comes to Prabhupada and tells him that, Srila Prabhupada, I've resigned from my job. Why? Because he was envious, or he was feeling bad that other devotees were having such nice time with Srila Prabhupada, serving him directly. This was like 1966 time frame. So he was also very envious that he also should stay with Prabhupada all the time. And but since he was working, he was not able to spend that time. So when he comes and he tells Prabhupada that I've resigned, and Prabhupada tells him, no, oh, like Prabhupada says, oh, but you were serving so nicely, you were contributing money. And Prabhupada says that, and then he tells him, no, you should actually work. And he goes back and he takes his resignation, and then he serves. But then he was sharing that he used to bring one mango every day, because Prabhupada used to like mango as a king of fruits. And that one service that he did for a few days, some other disciples were making fun of him, but Prabhupada stopped them. He said, no, this is pure love and Krishna consciousness. And that incident from 1966, Prabhupada remembered when he was leaving the world in 1977 in Vrindavan on the deathbed, when he was passing away. He remembered all those small, small services that all his disciples had done at the very beginning of the uh, movement when Krishna consciousness was being established in New York. So, yeah, each service, we think it's a small, but again, like Prabhupada's teachers or Acharyas teachers, every service is absolute. Whatever we do selflessly in the service of Vaishnavas, in the service of the Lord, is absolute. It doesn't matter whether it is sweeping, whether vacuuming, whether cleaning, cleaning the temple, washing the dishes, the most menial service, washing the bathrooms, everything is absolute. So all services, like Prabhupada is saying, yes, our acharyas are eternally indebted to us for everything that we do. But we should do it with humility and with full, complete conviction and surrender to the words of Sri Guru. Okay. Anything else? Anybody would like to share anything that you loved from today's reading? Speaking of service, I was reminded even doing service, not just physically, but even mentally, just with our mind, is also absolute. It is also beneficial. The Lord reciprocates even with that. There's a funny story, like Prabhupada was sharing that funny story yesterday, about the joker and the king. So similarly, there is one. This is a recent story from Vrindavan, where one uh, uh, businessman who is very uh, conjuice, very stingy. He comes to a sadhu, and he says that I want to serve Krishna, but I don't want to spend any money. tell me what is the best way that I can serve the Lord. So then, the sadhu tells him that, oh, okay, well, you can actually serve. You can offer the Lord, like you can do manasik seva. You can offer the Lord through your mind. You can offer him bhoga. You can serve him. You can do his worship. Just you can do it through your mind. So you don't have to pay even one penny, $1, anything. You don't have to pay any single paisa. So he says, oh, this is nice. I can do that certainly. So he goes home and then he starts serving the Lord like that. He will offer manasik seva, like while he's chanting or when he's doing his meditation to him, he will offer to manasik seva. Chappan bhog he'll offer doodh, milk, butter, everything he offers. And so he keeps doing that so that as a practice, it becomes a practice. Just like Papa was saying, we keep chanting, 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 then you become perfect. So like that, he had become perfect in his Manasi Seva. He was serving, serving, serving for a few years. And then one day, when he was offering milk in his Manasik Seva, he offered the milk, but he put like, 2 spoons of sugar in it instead of usually the 1 spoon that he does. And then he was so upset and so mad. Oh, why did I put 2 spoons of sugar? I should have just put one spoon, 1 spoon of sugar. So even in that, he was very stingy. Being a baniya, being a kanjus. That was his nature. So he said, "Why did I put? Oh, I should have just put one, but I wasted 1 spoon of sugar by putting 2 spoons of sugar." So then the story, funny story, it says that that Krishna, he was so absorbed in his service, and but Krishna was so uh, became so dear, and then he actually came out and he slapped him. He said, "Arey kanjus, at least mansik seva kar raha hai isme. So there's no money that you have to put, but still, even in this, you are being so kanjus. Kanjus, you're only offered 2 spoons of sugar, and you're crying for that, you know." So, but yeah, this is a funny but a real life story. So yeah, I'm just remembering that the seva that we offer, even if it's a tiny seva, even if it's mansik, yeah, the Lord is, because ultimately, like we said, this whole process is about bhava. The whole bhakti is about bhava, what we do with bhav, right? It's not about numbers, it's not about external showing, show offs. That but it's really how we are serving the Lord selflessly, sincerely, with bhava. Then when we do that, then the kripa comes. So bhav se bhakti karo, and then everything is bestowed by the Lord, by the pure devotees, by the Acharya Parampara. By their mercy, we can reach back home, back to Godhead. Okay. If there are no comments, anybody would like to say anything? Not. I'm wishing you all a wonderful Vasant Panchami once again. Like I said, you can pray to Saraswati Maya. It is also Saraswati Puja today. That maybe, properly have our intelligence developed so that we can read these wonderful shastras and we can imbibe the teachings in our daily lives. So we can pray to Saraswati Maya. We can pray to all these pure devotees whose appearance and disappearance is today, that by their mercy we can make rapid progress on the spiritual path, not just like a malgadi, like we say. Malgadi goes slowly. We get frustrated when things don't move fast, right? We want things instantly in this instant world. So why not bhakti? Why not love of Godhead instantly also? So to get to that instant state of reaching the love of Godhead, we have to do drid sadhana, drid nischay, with utsaha, nischayat, and dhairyat. And we can pray to these wonderful devotees so that with their mercy, we can gain rapid advancement on the spiritual path. Thank you all for your kind association. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnavrind ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Thank you,
Vasant Panchami
Prabhuji.
ki
Have a great day,
jai. Hari
everyone.
Bol.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Happy Vasant Panchami.